But let's talk about the team that won the football game, the Houston Texans. Dominant defense, right? But I'm going to ask this question. Can the Houston Texans continue to win behind lackluster performances behind this offense and CJ Stroud?
Man, it's so hard to look at this team and imagine that the performance that CJ Stroud had tonight. I mean, multiple fumbles, multiple turnovers, and yet this was a 30-6 game at the end. But the reality is, and you and I have talked about this for quite some time, this defense is so elite. And I'm talking about, and this is coming from somebody who likes to tout the 1985 Bears. This is that level of talent, right? Just across
2000 Ravens.
2000 Ravens, the 1985 Bears, where there is not a single weak spot on that defense. Good luck when you have pass rush that good with corners that can cover the way that they do. Their linebackers are open to do whatever they want defensively. They're so exotic in what they're able to do. And Dimakos Ryans is a hell of a coach. And so for me, when I look at what happened tonight against Pittsburgh, I'm going to venture to say, as bad as CJ played, he can play just a little bit better and they can beat people. And I think that's what you got to look for is, one, this running game got going tonight. And I would anticipate maybe them going, they've struggled with it throughout the year, but they had a good game tonight. And I would like to see them run the football more, not rely on CJ to throw the football as much. And for whatever reason, figure out what's going on with your center and the snapping that was happening during this game, because it looked like he had never, it was like a rookie out there playing like he had never played. And if you watch it back, CJ on multiple occasions was not paying attention or was looking off when the snap came. So I don't know if it was just loud or what was going on, but they need to get those little things fixed. But to answer your question, yes, this defense is so elite that I don't think it matters what happens on offense. They proved that tonight. They demolished a Pittsburgh team in Pittsburgh when they turned the ball over, I think 4 or 5 times, Keith. That's not going to happen again. More than likely, even if CJ Stroud just plays average, this defense gives them a shot to beat anybody in the NFL.
Yeah, I'll give them a shot to win games, right? But when I look at the rest of this AFC playoff bracket, when you talk about the Patriots, they're a team with a good defense. The Broncos, a team with a really good defense, right? I'm not sure if I'm believing the 30-point performance that was just put on. And I felt like this walking into the game, right? The minute I seen the back and forth between the Texans and the Steelers, I said this, the first team to get up 2 scores, the game is over. Like, not even close. Won't be in a comeback. The game is over. The first team to get up by 10 points, I'll even say 9 points. The first team to get up by 9 points, more than a touchdown, the game was over. And I think you've seen the Pittsburgh Steelers become predictable because everybody knew they had to throw the football, right? And then the Houston Texans knew exactly what was going on. And when you have a great defense like that, things are just going to snowball at that point. But I look at the Houston Texans and I say offensively, they're going to have to do more. And I think that the Steelers, you talk about that drop pass from DK Metcalf, he could have put the Houston Texans in a very complex situation to where they had to put it on CJ Stroud's shoulders and they can't be balanced anymore. So that's the part that I'm nervous about, because the rest of this AFC playoff bracket, they're good defensively in some sort, right? The Bills have one of the top pass coverage defenses. The Broncos, one of the best defenses overall. The Patriots rank in the top half of the top half in defense. So they're going against more good defenses, and then they're going to CJ Stroud. I think he's going to have to make plays because these offenses that they're going against are better than what the Pittsburgh Steelers were.
So, and I agree with you. I don't think there's no way that this team can go on a run if they play this bad. But I don't think that we're going to see this bad of a performance again.
You're talking about like the fumbles?
Yeah, I mean, this was just like, when you talk about going wrong, it's almost impossible that they were able to win this game. Like, their defense is so good. No team in the NFL should have any business winning a football game when you turn over the ball as much as they did tonight. And that's the part that I look at this and I go, I've seen CJ play okay, right? And that's all. I think if he plays average, right? He just doesn't turn the ball over. He manages the game. And I think for them, they luck out in that they're playing, of all the remaining defenses on the AFC side, they're playing the defense that's the worst of the four remaining. And so I think that favors them. I still think it's going to be a tough matchup, but with that pass rush, and you've seen what's happened to Drake May throughout this year, the one knock on him was that he's taken a lot of sacks this season. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how both quarterbacks play, because if they could just be a little bit better, I think it's going to come down to the running games for both teams. And we'll get into our picks later, but I don't believe that CJ is going to have as bad of a game as I just saw, because I don't expect him to be great, but I also don't expect him to be absolutely terrible. And he was absolutely terrible tonight.
Yeah, so this is where I'm kind of bumping it against, because you just said it, right? It was two words: run game. And we talked about the Chicago Bears of 1985. We talked about the Baltimore Ravens of 2000. The one thing that both of those teams had was really good run games, right? Like obviously Walter Payton with the Bears and then Jamal Lewis with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not sure the Houston Texans have that. So if they pull the ball out of CJ Stroud's hands, I'm not sure how far their run game can get them to, right? You kind of get what I'm saying? Like I think that they're going to bump against the threshold to where CJ, he's going to have to do something, because they can't run the ball 30 times. It's not like the Philadelphia Eagles of last year, right, where they could just turn around and hand it off and dominate teams offensively via the run game.
I liked what they did in the run game tonight, and I was honestly, as well as they were executing on it, rushing the ball, I don't know why they continued to give CJ Stroud the opportunity to throw the ball away. And I get it. You've got tons of weapons, right? They've drafted a couple young wide receivers. They've got a lot of guys, but now you got Nico Collins out. You have Nick Chubb. You have Woody Marks. You have a good 1-2 punch there. And I would really like to see them just really commit to running the football. I think they need to do that, because CJ cannot be the guy who you put the ball in his hands. You need to make him a game manager. That is your best case scenario. He needs to manage the football game. He does not need to be a spectacular player. Your bread and butter is your defense. You don't need to be great on offense. You just need to not turn the ball over. So I would like to see them try to get CJ to be that guy, because if he's a manager and he manages the game properly and they don't turn the ball over, they got a shot to beat anybody. But again, that's coming off of a game where we just saw them turn the ball over, 5 times? So that might be a tall task, Keith.
Yeah, and I love this Houston Texas defense. I'm just a little bit nervous offensively, just how far they'll be able to go
100%.